classical dish. Okay, this is quite a labor intensive dish as it would normally take 3 days to start to finish. Okay, now in front of you we have a lot of ingredients. There are 3 main components of a pate avru. One, good afternoon everyone. This is your force-meat applications part 5. Okay, today we are going to make pate avru, French classical dish. Okay, this is quite a labor intensive dish as it would normally take 3 days to start to finish. Okay, now in front of you we have a lot of ingredients. There are 3 main components of a pate avru. One, the meat. Second, the pastry in which the meat is going to be, the pastry which is going to cover the meat. Okay, and third part will be the aspic. Now the aspic is already on the stove. Okay, we already made a stock. Now we are going to clarify the stock, make it a consomme, and then we are going to reduce the consomme so the gelatin from the bones will be concentrated and it will give a nice crystal aspect. Okay, the aspect is what holds the entire pate together. Okay, so this is the dish in which we will make the pate avru. Okay, I have lined the dish with oil and I have put a butter paper. Basically the butter paper is, it will be easier for me to demold the pate avru, because when the pate avru is cooking, the meat is cooking inside the pastry, there will be chances of the meat leaving a lot of juices. Now these juices will go down and make the pastry a little bit soggy. So when we are demolding, if there are chances that the pastry might get latched to the base. So when we demold it, it will all come out. By adding this, the entire pastry will come together. It will not get separated. And then the final thing will be, we will be adding the aspic from the top into the pate avru, okay, and setting it overnight in the fridge. Once the entire aspic is set, it will hold the entire pastry and the meat together. So when I do a cross section, you will be able to see the meat, okay, and the aspic encased in a pastry. This is called as a pate avru. Okay, now for the pate avru, we will be making marination of meat has to be marinated, chicken liver, lamb, eggs, and we will be making a dough for pate. Now the dough will consist of flour, fat, vinegar, egg, and salt and water, chilled water. Okay, so basically your pate dough has to be well chilled. It has to be nice and cold. If your pate dough is not, because this is a sweat pastry, okay, instead of adding sweat or lard, I have used fat, butter. Okay, 400 grams of butter, you take, for example, 400 grams of butter, you take 200 grams of flour. You first mix the butter you first cream the butter till it's nice and soft. Then you add the egg, mix it together till it becomes a nice emulsion, and then you add vinegar and cold water, and then you go on mixing it till it becomes a little fluffy, and then you add your flour, make it into a nice dough. Okay, I will show you the dough which we have already made, and it is in the fridge. Now this is the dough that we have made. Okay, it will resemble this, but it has to be kept chilled. It should be just pliable, able to just roll it. Okay, it should be a pliable dough. It should not be a very hard dough nor a very soft dough. For the aspic, okay, we are using lamb bones. Typically a lamb leg bones, as the lamb legs and the trotters have the maximum amount of gelatin content. So we are going to use the lamb bones. We are going to make a stock, specifically a brown stock, flavored with tomatoes. Okay, and then we are going to clarify it. Now the clarification process of consomme, as you know, is adding protein and egg white. Okay, and cooking it at a very slow flame, because when you cook at a very high flame, you have chances of boiling the consomme, which will make the consomme murky and it will make it dirty. There will be a cloudy consomme. It won't be a very clear consomme. So very important to keep it on a very slow flame. Give it enough time so that it cooks slowly. When you add the egg white and the raw chicken mince or raw lamb mince, you are giving the protein plus the egg white. All the impurities, okay, since the egg white is there inside the liquid, it will form like an omelette, okay, and as it is rising on top, it will take all the impurities with it and come up. When it comes to the top, that is called as a raft. What remains down will be a very clear consomme. That consomme, when it is concentrated to or reduced to 1/4, that will give you a beautiful aspect. The liver is marinated with brandy, port, sea salt, allspice powder, garlic powder, and a little bit of fine chopped celery. Okay, now this has to be done 1 day prior. Okay, 1 day in advance for the brandy to be able to absorb all the flavors together. Okay, and then this will be pan fried. Not till cooked, you have to do it only to seal the outer edges. For the lamb, we will be using fine chopped onions, fine chopped celery, we will be using fine chopped herbs, okay, rosemary and thyme, fine chopped garlic, we will be using orange zest and orange juice. Okay, orange juice and orange zest both will help to tenderize the meat a little bit. Okay, since we are not using prime cut, okay, this meat has to tenderize, otherwise it won't cook properly. Okay, so we will use the orange juice and the orange zest. It will give it a good zesty flavor to the lamb, and also it will tenderize it. Now we will be marinating the lamb. Now to marinate the lamb, I will be adding a little bit of fine chopped onion, okay, some fine chopped garlic, roughly around 1 tablespoon of garlic, orange zest to give it a little bit of tangy flavor. Don't use too much of orange zest or it will become very bitter. Then I will be adding some cajun spice, fine chopped celery, allspice powder, ginger powder, crushed peppercorns, some salt, and I can use red wine for marinating the meat, but instead of the red wine, I will be using a little bit of orange juice, and I will mix all this together. And then we'll be cling wrapping this and keeping it back in the fridge till we are ready with the pate dough. Okay, till we are ready with the pate dough. Okay, now we will be cooking the liver, since it's been marinating for an entire day in the marination, soaking up the alcohol and the spices. Now we will be quickly sealing the liver. Okay, so take a pan, add some oil. Okay, make it nice and hot. We have to sizzle the, make sure the pan is sizzling hot. Okay, so that the moment you put the liver, it is sealed. Remember, the liver should not cook. It should only the liver should be sealed. Whenever you are sealing the meat, okay, very important to remember the pan has to be very hot, because the moment you add meat to the pan, the temperature is going to drop rapidly. If you feel that the liver is burning in the pan, you could always use the mixture that you use for marinating. Now that the liver is half done, okay, we can remove it from the flame and transfer it to a bowl. The reason we are doing half cooked is because once the liver gets overcooked, it will become very chewy. Okay, we require the liver just to cook enough. This is how the dough looks before you are putting the mixture, stuffing. Okay, before you use the stuffing, and then we'll put it back into the chiller. And when the dough is nicely chilled, then we will remove it. We will add your lamb, liver, egg, again liver and lamb, and then bake it. Okay, after the baking process is done, then we will be sealing it. We will seal it before. Make a small chimney here, okay, so that the excess steam comes out. Once the pate ankruth is cooked, then we will add the aspic inside the chimney. The aspic will set overnight, and then tomorrow we will slice it and present it. Okay, now that the dough is properly chilled, now we will start aligning the ingredients inside the dough. So the first layer would be the marinated lamb. Okay. Now after layering the pate ankruth, we would again keep it back in the fridge to make sure the dough is nicely chilled. Okay. This is just like you are doing your okay. Now we will be adding. This is just like doing your tart. Okay, when you are making a tart, the reason why you are putting the dough inside the fridge because the butter in a cool temperature, it will not, when it's cold, okay, and when you put it in the oven, it is not going to change its shape. Okay, when the butter is cooled and the dough is nice and pliable, it is not going to change the shape. I don't think we'll be having place for the eggs, so we'll be just putting the mutton and the liver. Okay, we'll put one more layer of lamb. I've already got fans flying around the dough. We'll just finish it fast and put this back. Make sure that there is no gap, okay, because when the lamb cooks, okay, it is going to shrink, and it will shrink 1/3 its size. Okay, so now we are going to place this. Okay, now we are going to place the dough onto the, and make sure it is nicely sealed on the edges. And this time I would fold the outer edges back inside to make sure that my pate dough is completely sealed and with the back of a knife, just gently press, okay, the dough together so that everything is sealed together. Okay, now as long as this dough is going to be outside, it is going to slowly, the butter is going to melt, come to room temperature, and the dough is going to become stretchy. This is the main reason why we chill the dough before baking it. So the butter is nice and hard and the pastry comes out properly. The structure, the texture of the pastry comes out properly. Okay, the dough is set. Okay, it is nice and, you see, okay, it's nice and tight. Now we'll brush the top with egg white, egg wash. Okay, the egg wash is basically, you know why we do it, so that the caramelization happens and you get a nice golden color on the crust. Okay, and also the crust becomes nice and crispy. Now once you have done this, we'll immediately put it for baking in the oven. Okay, at 250 degrees. You preheat the oven at 250, reduce it to 230, and then you will bake it. Once the baking is completed, we will make another layer on top, okay, which we will, I'll just make a small hole. Now basically I am doing this because I want to achieve two things. One, all the moisture that is, when the meat is cooking, all the steam that comes up should not make the pastry soggy. Point number 2, I will be able to fill the aspic through these gaps. Okay. This is how you design a pate encroute, the crust on the top. Okay. These are the funnels which will help the steam to release, and it will not make the pastry soggy from the top. Okay. So as much steam as possible will be removed. The rest of the liquid will go inside and it will be in between. So when you pour this aspic, it will set everything together, it will hold the entire pastry and the meat together. Okay, now we will put it for baking. Okay, now that the pate encroute is baked, okay, the last and the final step before we keep it in the fridge for chilling is aspic. Okay, now this is your consomme that is reduced. Okay, I just filled up into a squeezy bottle, which will make it easier for me to drop it into the pate encroute. If you see, it is already filled up, it is overflowing outside. That means the aspic is filled. We'll just tap the box. Yes, I can see the aspic filled till the top. Now we will keep this in the fridge overnight. Okay, and then tomorrow we will cut open and see how it looks like from inside. Okay, and we will present it. Now we have completed making the pate encroute. It has been, we have already put the aspic inside the encroute. Okay, and we have placed it in the fridge overnight to chill. Now the aspic is set and we are about to slice the pate encroute to see how the internally how it looks. Just a cross section. So we'll be making and we'll be presenting the pate encroute. So as you see, meat is cooked. Okay, the gelatin is set. The gelatin is set inside. Okay.